Recently we started getting these in the mail, and I'm sure you have too. These are photo Christmas cards from friends and family, and they're all taken with professional photographers in great locations like on the beach or in the woods or some artisanal looking cabin. And every year, my wife gives me a hard time that we have not taken the time to get professional family photos taken. So in this video, I'm going to explore how we can use AI to generate the same kind of family photos that my cousins and family are using without actually having to go to those locations and take the photos. Now, I will warn you, it is December 19th at 8:30 p.m. that I'm recording this. So I'm already way late in this, and I'm not going to save myself from the wrath of my wife. But I may be able to generate some pretty interesting Christmas cards, and it'll be interesting to see if people can actually tell that they've been AI generated. So I want to jump into showing you exactly how we can train a model with photos of myself and my wife so that we can generate these types of images completely synthetically. Sound good? Let's start with a little bit of background. And there's two key phrases that I want to make sure you're aware of. First, Flux. Flux is an AI model that generates images from written descriptions or prompts. Just like you prompt ChatGPT or Anthropic, you can prompt Flux to generate an image. Flux is a model that was developed by Black Forest Labs, which is a research lab that was founded by some former employees of Stability AI. Flux is known for having high quality images and its ability to follow prompts and support a variety of image styles. Now, what's really interesting about Flux is that you can give it exactly what you want to create, the style, the type of image, and it does a really good job of generating it. And specifically, it does a really good job with photorealistic images. Now, the other phrase I want to make sure you're aware of here is LoRA. And LoRA is an acronym for low rank adaptation. And a LoRA is a lightweight model fine-tuning approach for training on a specific style of image, a person, or an object without having to retrain the entire model. So think of this like an add-on or a style pack for the model. If I train it with lots of images of myself, it can then generate net new images of me in prompted situations. In our case, I'm going to create a LoRA based on images of myself and a LoRA based on images of my wife. And the LoRAs that have been based on those images will enable me to create this fully synthetic Christmas card that is going to save my marriage. So let's jump in and see exactly how we can do that. So the first thing you're going to need in order to actually start building out this custom trained model is a collection of photos. And so I have captured a collection of photos of myself. Notice that some of them are upper body, some of them are full body. Yeah, there's a couple full body ones. They're in different lighting situations. Some of them I purposely did in poor lighting. Some of them are really close. They also show my hair in a couple different stages of maturity. So I've got a lot of photos of myself here as a collection. I think this one's actually AI generated, so I'm going to get rid of that. The other thing you want to look at is how large these images are. Notice that a couple of mine are actually kind of large, maybe a little bit too large. I'm on a Mac, so one thing that I can do to quickly size those is to open them all real quick in preview. And you can see I've got a couple images of myself close up. I think this is after I got my haircut, so there's like some hair on my face. Hopefully that doesn't show up in the model that we create, but I've got some good images here. Unfortunately, these are a little bit large for what I'd like to do to quickly upload something. These are about 9 meg a piece. So what I'm going to do is go up to Tools and then Adjust Size. And this is a way that I can, in bulk, really quickly adjust the size of some of these images. So we can see right now that if I change the resolution to 72 dpi, it will take it down to 38.2 meg for those 6 images instead of 52. That's already pretty great. I'm going to go down a little bit further. I'm going to say that I want the height and width to be 75% of what it was. Even that, let's go a little bit more. 50% of what it was. So we're going to 12.8 meg for the 6 images instead of 52.3. That's fine. it's going to go through and make those adjustments on those images, and that will shrink down my file sizes a little bit. So little bonus tip there. From what I've read, you should shoot for having at least 10 to 15 images of yourself. I've got far more than that here, just because I was able to find so many, but get some images of yourself. Another key tip here is make sure you're the only subject in the image. So you may have to crop out some friends and family and things like that, because you do want to make sure that it's only your face that's showing up in the image, or your body. You don't want the model to be trained on more than one face at a time. I say that because the first time I tried to do this, I took a bunch of pictures of myself and my wife together, and I tried to train the model. And what ended up happening is the output was like half look like me and half look like my wife, and it was just getting confused. It didn't work out. So what we're going to do here is just train with a set of images of me. Now, notice that I also put this in a folder that's just really squirrely naming, right? MDRGHD with an underscore at the end. The reason I've done that is because as you're starting to train a model, and we're going to be using Replicate for this, I've got the link in the description below. When you're training a model, you need to give it a trigger word. And that trigger word is basically when and how you will invoke the LoRA of you when generating images. So I'll show you that here shortly. It gives you a default trigger word of talk. I'm using one that's very, very obscure to make sure that it's always going to be me. But anyway, we'll get into that in just a second. So let me go back to my images of myself. What I'm going to do is take this folder. So I've got, I don't know, 30 or 40 images there. I'm going to compress it to create a zip. So basically, it's a folder of images of me. It came out to be 109 meg. I will use that for training this model. Now, fortunately, it's super easy to train this. You do have the ability to do it with API if you want to, but I'm going to do it just through this web interface. So first off, you give a destination. I'm going to just name this after myself so that it's super easy to know that it's me. I will select to create a new model. Now, if you want other people to be able to train off of your model, you could obviously put this as public. I would prefer people are not training and using my face to generate images, so I'm going to mark this as private. Here you also have the ability to upload your images. Again, it says recommended a minimum of 10. If you want to auto caption them or provide captions, you can. That can help with the training. I have not done that yet, and I'm still getting pretty good results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this zip file. I will drop that right here, and that's going to be my input images. Again, it's just a folder that's zipped up with images of me. The next thing we're going to do is give our trigger word. And again, the trigger word is something that we're going to use in the prompt to start telling it when to generate images of me or whatever your trained subject is. So I'm just going to use the exact same name that was listed here. You don't have to use the exact same name of your folder. That's fine. I just did it that way because when I go back to look at the training set that I used for this particular model, I want to be able to clearly tell that, like, oh, that was a trigger word I used, and it's also showing up in this folder. So if I start to do versioning or want to make some improvements on this and change my image set around, I can quickly do that. You do have the ability to auto caption, and I've been doing this for all of mine. If you see the tips down below, it says, for example, you can do a prefix for auto captioning, a photo of talk, so that's the trigger word, and then it's going to include whatever auto caption happens after that, right? So it's going to try to evaluate the image and say a picture of MDRGHD underscore standing in front of a glass wall or something like that. So what I'm going to do is copy my same trigger word here. You can do this with me. A photo of MDRGHD. And I'm also going to put man because I want to be very clear when I'm doing this training and when I do image generation that it's generating images of me as a man. If you're doing this as a female, I would encourage you to put female there. If I don't put that, I've noticed that you can just kind of leave it up to the discretion of the model, and you don't always get the gender out that you're looking for. So just a tip, that's something that I've been doing and I found seems to work pretty well. All right, for steps, I have found the best success at putting this at 1500. I've trained this multiple times already, and that one seems to do the best. If you want to put your model up on Hugging Face, you have the ability to do that. You just give a repo ID, you would give your token, and it will automatically upload that to Hugging Face as well. So if you wanted to have that model elsewhere. There are some advanced options here. I'm not going to mess with that. Now, the thing I didn't show you as a part of this, we're at replicate.com. We are using this Flux Dev LoRA trainer model. You do have to set up your billing account before you start actually doing any of this training. It's extremely cost effective to do this. I think each time you train a model, and again, with the number of images that I'm using, I think it costs $1.50. And then for each image generation that happens after that, I want to say it was like 10 cents. So it's very inexpensive. If you think about the flip side, if I were to go and buy an NVIDIA card that's capable of doing all of this locally, it would be significantly more expensive. So you're essentially just borrowing a GPU for a period of time. So once you've got your billing set up and all of these keys filled in here, I have clicked the button to create training, and you'll see in a second that the screen is going to switch over and it's going to run that training. Now, based on the number of images that I provided, based on the size of those images, I expect this training to take between 20 and 30 minutes, and that's what it's done in the past when I've been testing this. Okay, so mine just kicked off, and it actually took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. I think the problem is that I just looked, my uploaded zip file was 106 meg. So that large of a zip file obviously took a little bit of time to upload. You can see that what it's doing as it's going through is it's starting off with going through and captioning all of my images. So you can see that it's recognizing I'm wearing a gray sweater, gray tank top, gray and white sweater, black shirt. So it's going through and trying to caption each of those images. And it will use that as part of its training so that when I'm asking for it to generate different images of me, it has that as a background. So I'm going to let this go ahead and run. It's going to caption all of those images. Then it's going to start the actual training process itself. So I'm going to let that get started right now, and as soon as it starts to actually run Flux train replicate, I know that it's starting to train. And again, I'll pause the video here because it's going to take about a half hour. We'll jump back in once my model has finished its training. All right, so my model just finished creating. It took 29 minutes in total duration, so I said it would take between 20 and 30, and it was on the higher side, but it is complete now. I have the ability to invoke this model through JavaScript or an HTTP request, or they've got some code here for Python if you want to. You also have the ability to just invoke and run prompts in the UI itself. So we're going to do that because it's way easier for me to be able to quickly show you how to do this. Now, for a prompt, I said that I wanted to be able to create these synthetic Christmas cards. So what I did while my model was running is I started prompting ChatGPT with the 2 images that I had of Christmas cards from my cousins, actually. So I'm not trolling them, but we're going to create 2 images in this vein. So I've got one prompt that will be used to replicate that one. Notice here that it says a photo of MDRGHD_man, which this was my trigger word. And you can see that that's in both of these. On a sandy beach. It's given some very illustrious language to a lot of this. The scene is illuminated by soft natural daylight, creating a warm, serene atmosphere. The couple appears relaxed, etc. I'm just doing this with myself and my wife for right now. I didn't really feel like it would be a great idea to train a model that had my kids in it and put that on YouTube. Now, the last thing that I've included here is from some of the testing that I've done. I've read this online. This is actually almost like a model argument that you can give of how you want to position yourself in the image and how much of that should be your upper body / your body. So I'm putting this at the end of both of those prompts. I'm going to put these prompts in the description as well. So if anyone else wants to use my exact prompt and see if they can create an image, go for it. Down below that, I'm going to set that I want this to be a 1024 by 1024 image. That's that 1:1 aspect ratio. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the number of outputs to 3. And I'm doing that because it's going to generate all 3 of those images as a result all at once for me. I'm going to pick the one that I like the best, and then we'll move forward with showing you exactly how I can map my wife into that. So there's really nothing else I need to set on this. I just set the prompt and a couple of those features there, and then I hit run. And it's right now going to generate those images. Hopefully they actually look like me off of that trained image set. So this takes, I don't know, 25 seconds. So that's a pretty good image. That actually looks a good amount like me. And again, going back to the image that we just looked at here, this is supposed to be the image of target photo 1, which is this one. So you can see it did a pretty good job of like matching the style and what's going on there. The other thing that I forgot to warn you about, my face is going to be on both faces for all of these to start. And that's because this LoRA has obviously been trained on my face. So what we're going to do as a next step is we need to map my wife in so that we can replace this face with hers. So the images that come out to start with are a little bit alarming. I should have given you a heads up. These look like me. I think they did a pretty good job with these. So I'm gonna save a couple of these and we will use these for my Christmas card collection here. I've got a template we're gonna use. We're gonna go end to end building this whole Christmas card, and we'll see, maybe I'll send you one, but I'll share the template as well. If you use it and you generate some images, send me a Christmas card. That'll be awesome. I'm going to save these images real quick just so I have them, and we'll use a couple of these for, let me make a new folder here. We'll use a couple of these for targeting for my wife too. So let's say Christmas card images, and I'm just going to save these out and drag them over here. Plop it right in there. I wonder if it makes a difference if I save as. We're going to see if it does a higher quality one. Nope, it's the same thing. All right, the click and drag works fine. All right, so I got all 3 of those saved. Let's give the other prompt, and then we'll start masking in my wife on some of these. So I'm going to put that other prompt in here. This one should be generating a black and white image. Again, based on the image of my cousin, this should be my wife and I sitting at the end of a black and white dock. The scene is framed by a classic wooden beach walkway with white railings and a soft focus palm trees in the distance, evoking a timeless, serene atmosphere. Oh man, I don't know that I would have used that language to describe some of this, but we're gonna see what pops out here. Now I notice sometimes that it does queue up my requests, and that's because they only have so much capacity as replicate. So we'll give that a minute to run here. Oh yeah, nailed it. Now, I did notice something. Those are really thick legs compared to what my legs really look like. I noticed something a bit weird with my images, and it's my own fault. If you see, it's starting to put this badge on my shirt quite a bit, right? Fortunately, I got one here that doesn't have it, so maybe we'll go with that one. I didn't notice on the other image set if it had the same. It's got a little bit of a badge there. Not too bad. Yeah, so the problem is that I'm wearing a Patagonia sweatshirt right now. I was also wearing a Patagonia sweatshirt in a good number of my images. So it's in essence been overtrained to me wearing Patagonia, and then it starts to put this little badge on almost everything that I wear. So that's a problem with my own image set. Probably some good coaching I could have given you 15 minutes ago. When you're getting images, try to get a variety. I just happen to wear Patagonia sweatshirts a lot in the wintertime, and that's the day that I was taking a bunch of these photos. So that will be fine. The only problem with this one is my wife is like 5 foot tall, and this girl is like 6 foot. So I'm not sure that one's going to work very well. This one, those calves are a dead giveaway. We may have to go with this middle one. I don't have the biggest calves in the world, I'll be honest. Let me put this one over here into my collection. Yeah, I'm clearly looking through and past the fact that this girl looks very similar to me. We'll do this one. Maybe it'll make my wife a little bit shorter. All right, so we've got a couple images here. I think I like this one. A lot of them look like me. Let's go back to which one? I don't know if that one. Let's try this one. Height-wise, great calves. I think we got a good one. So I'm going to go Web P0. What we need to do is mask in someone from a different LoRa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this image, and I'm going to go over to Photo P. Photo P is like a Photoshop that someone has written in JavaScript, and it's insane. So if you go to File, New, notice I've got it on my clipboard already, so I've got a 1024 by 1024 size image. If you didn't have it on your clipboard, you can just do a new 1024 by 1024 and paste in your image. Now, what I want to do here is I need to mask out where I need to replace my wife, right? Or where my real wife needs to be masked in here. So what I'm going to do is create 2 new layers, and I do that at the bottom here by clicking New Layer. And on the top layer, which is my layer 3, I'm going to get the paintbrush over here, and I'm going to set the color to white, and I'm going to set the size to, let's say, it's not big enough. Let's do 60. 63. And what I basically want to do is just paint in where I want my wife to show up. So I'm going to our hands are jacked up, so I'm going to include that in there. And I'm basically just going to create a mask for where I want it to put my wife. So let's put that in there. Cool. And I've basically whited her out. And then on layer 2, I'm going to fill the entire screen with black. So I'm just going to click on layer 2, I'm up to edit, fill. I'm going to set the fill color to black and hit OK. So basically what I end up with is a black image with a white shape. And what we're going to do now is go back to replicate. I'm going to switch to my wife's LoRa that I've already pre-trained. I'm not going to make you watch me retrain that again. And we're going to give it this image plus the image of the 2 of us standing there together, and we're going to prompt it to mask my wife in. So let me save this out. I'm going to go to File, Export as PNG. I'm going to try to name it after the same file so I can kind of keep this together. This is out-0. So let's name that out-0 and hit save. I'm going to put that back into my folder. So in here I've got out-0 PNG and out-0 WebP, which is the file that I got directly from Replicate. So let me switch over to my wife's model real quick. Okay, so this is the model that I have trained off of my wife. You can see here that it does give the helpful reminder of what the trigger word is. So my wife's trigger word is CMSXY. So what I'm going to do is copy off of, actually I'm just going to make it a simpler one. Let's say a photo of CMSXY woman at the beach. And then I can copy some of this. Let's see. Wearing a light, simple dress and smiling warmly. We'll copy that in. We'll just put that there. Now for the tricky part here. So I'm going to put in the image that we were just using, which was that WebP, the 0 file. So we'll see that one. There's me and the other me. I'm not sure my wife's going to like this lady's body, but we'll see how that goes. And then let's put this in. There's our mask. And again, I'm just going to set this to 3 for our number of outputs. We'll choose the best one, and that's going in the Christmas card. So far, I think this photo looks believable enough as me, especially if it's not like a gigantic Christmas card that's just this photo. This is passable, especially if we do some creative cropping. This is a dead giveaway. Like, our hands have completely merged. So hopefully it fixes the hands. Oh, those are worse. All right. Of those 3, this one is definitely the best of my wife. But if you notice, it's taking almost the exact same body. So that means we gotta go back and not just find a good picture of me, but find a good picture of me that has a body that my wife would be happy with. So let's go back to this before I get in trouble here. That's the black and white one. Okay, that one I think could be workable. That one's also slender. I look short in that. I don't know why. Something about that guy's arms looks short. So we're going to try this one. Let's go and create the mask for out 1. This is not a perfect science, so it does take a little bit of tweaking here. All right, let's go to web out 1 as our image. Just me staring lovingly into my own eyes. And it's still set at 3. Let's go ahead and run that one. And let's see what we get. Oh my gosh, why is she holding flowers? All right, that one looks pretty good. It's a bit revealing for a Christmas card, but it looks the most like my wife. So we're going to go with that one, and that's making the Christmas card. I'm going to put that over here. Let's do a black and white one now and see if we can replicate both of these. So I'm going to drop in one of these black and white photos. We'll grab, I think I said this was the best one. Oh no, she's too tall. This one. But I got to be considerate of the body. I think the other one we said was just the thick calves. This will be good enough. See, the tag showed up. Man, overtrained model. All right, let me copy this one. I will put this into Photo P. Let's mask out my wife. Drop this into the mask. The file is 1-1. Put that right here. A photo of CMSXY woman at the beach. She's not at the beach. What is she doing? She is sitting on a wooden steps. We'll put that. Sitting. Let's say looking slender in A light, simple dress, smiling warmly. Let's see how that plays out. Again, the whole goal of this is for me to not get in trouble with my wife, not to get into more trouble. Oh boy, she's not going to like those. This one's pretty close. The other ones, I don't know. Maybe I need to go back to the prompt originally and say that my wife is slender in the photos that I take, or the photos that we generate of me. This one's pretty good. It's funny that it's got her Apple Watch in there too. Like it's recognizing a lot of these things from her photos. All right, I'm gonna copy that one, and we will use that as the first photo for the final Christmas card. So I'm gonna go back to Photo P. I created a PSD that I've called Photo Card Template, and I'll share this below. It has a dummy image in it so that you can copy the layer styles. What I'm gonna do is let's paste in that image that I just copied of the two of us. And I'm gonna crop it a bit because I really just want it to be like the two of us. I'll keep it with enough of the background so that anyone who sees it will know that I had replicated a photo from a photo card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on a new layer. And then on this Christmas tree down here, it's called Lower Photo. I'm going to go to Layer Style and then Copy. And then I can paste that. Layer Style, Paste. And let's position and size this guy a little bit by going to Edit, Free Transform. Make it a little bit smaller and rotate it a little bit so it shows up. Let's go right here. There we go. Look at that. So let's put another one in here. Where was the final one? Right here. Drop that guy in. That's a pretty good photo. I'm gonna crop that one too. I'm just gonna copy part of it, and this will be like our vertical one that we'll use at the bottom there. So copy part of that, hide that layer, paste it. I'll do the same thing, layer style, paste. I'm gonna use this to swap out the Christmas tree there. Edit, free transform. And we'll tilt that a little bit too. But look at that. One more photo and I am out of the doghouse. So that's just a fun tutorial of, you know, how to use Flux and how to create these different LoRa's and do some basic image masking. You can obviously tweak and tune these, and I could have fine-tuned the prompts a little bit to maybe get a better output, but this was a fun way just to learn some of these new capabilities, learn how all of this stuff works. And if you ever get a Christmas card from me, know that there was probably AI involved some step along the way. So thanks for watching. Try this out. All the resources are in the description of this video. So if you want to try it out, be sure to send me a Christmas card, and I'll love to see it. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.